Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS Proving Grounds, where we are now one step away from Team Liquid Honda Academy not being able to stick it out in the end. I guess incredible stuff from Immortals Progressive Academy as a whole. Honestly, the step up from the entire team has been actually incredible. And now we have a little bit of queue time for Team Liquid Honda Academy to get back into the series here. So let's have a little bit of fun and let's play a nice little episode of Yordle here, our completely original game show where I've chosen a word, and that word is going to be representative of the game that we just watched. And that being said, maybe even as the series as a whole, it's going to be a 6-letter word, guys. I know 6 letters is a lot. 6 letters is a lot. You'll have 5 guesses to get this letter. I know, Desrex, it's going to be okay, man. It's going to be okay. So as you guess the word itself, if the letter that you have guessed in the word is correct, it'll be green highlighted if it's in the right place as well. If the letter itself is correct but not in the right place, it'll be yellow. And if it's not correct at all, it'll be gray. So you guys can put your heads together and try to come up with your first guess if you want, or somebody could just call out the first guess. The key word to lock in your guess is lock it in. Who'da thunk it? So first guess here, what do you guys think?
Josh, don't let me do it. Don't let me do it. My first guess is always the worst.
Okay, I know we tend to shy away from player names, but I feel like this could be a good time to throw in pretty, because the words that I was thinking of all have either an E or a P in them. And I feel like this just gives us a very natural segue.
Just an easy segue, right? I mean, hey,
yeah.
No big deal.
Lock
just
it in.
The
one shot,
theme,
one kill. Come on.
Okay. The theme of the last couple days are mid laners, apparently. Now, we do have 2 letters that are correct but not in the right place, and 1 letter that is in the right place. Good job on the first one.
Yeah, pretty good.
Thank you.
All right.
So
we got a T as one of the second to last letters. Now, whenever I see E, P, and T in that position, I always think that there's going to be an H at the end.
Okay.
So let's play D, E, P, T, H. Depth is only 5 letters.
Does that have anything to do with the game that we just watched or the series as a whole? I think it might.
Not really.
It
Kinda.
It might. I mean, depends on your definition and use of depth.
You want to get us more letters here, Eric? You know, we probably need at least 1 more vowel, and there's probably an H in there somewhere.
Well, put this camera on me. I'm about to embarrass myself, man. What's going on? Get out of here.
All right. If nobody knows, I'm gonna put out a little disclaimer. Desrex is not good with words.
He's not
good with letters. And I always make sure to bring all the letters and all the words to every game show that we do.
Yeah.
So, what you got, Desrex? Let's hit him with the heavy hitter.
Harold.
Harold.
All
right. Hey, it's a word. It's a word.
It's different letters.
We're gonna lock in Harold. Let's see if Harold is it. Oh, there's no T in Harold.
H. Interesting.
There's no H in the word, so there you go. Go a little bit further. Because we love you. All right, we're on to our third guess here.
Right.
Now, I will remind everybody also, in the 2 splits that we've done this game show, nobody has ever lost. They've always gotten in the end. So we'll see if you guys can be a first. Now, third guess. Go ahead and roll it.
That's not something I necessarily want to be a part of right now.
It's a week of them. It's a week of them.
I'm ready to go full Team Liquid, man.
A full 2 days of these things.
So other words that I was thinking of were like hammer, verdict,
I was thinking
keeper,
verdict.
things like that have to do with Poppy because it's been such an instrumental part of it. Upsets?
Do you think that could be it?
Yeah.
I actually like that quite a bit now that I think about it, right? You got the T in the right place, you got a P, you got an E in a new position.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay, could it
Lock
be it?
in.
You want to lock it in? All right, upsets. Could it be? And
let's go!
We got a winner! All right, it is a week of upsets at this point. Yeah, just give you a little foreshadowing hint there. It's been, we've had, no, wrong way. You just hit me in the face. Ah! Wait, I went the wrong way. Oh no. Anyways, but in all actuality,
we are not action stars.
It is a week of upsets. It's a day of upsets here, and so far it's been incredible that Immortals Progressive Academy have Team Liquid Honda Academy on the ropes here going into game number 3. And as a whole, right, I know you guys just got off the game, but it's the way they've done it, Joshi. That is what is the upsets aspect of it.
You know, I started off the series pretty frustrated with what we've been seeing from Team Liquid, but now I'm starting to get more on board with like the way that Immortals have been playing. One of the things that we heard from them in the interviews was that it felt as though Pretty and Joey in particular, they had built a system to help a lot of newer players, basically anybody, find their way towards the top 4, and that is its own accomplishment all by itself. Immortals was not a team that we were expecting to make it to the top 4 based on their performance in spring, but they did. Immortals was not a team that we were expecting to make it a top 4 in Proving Grounds in summer, but they are one game away from doing so. The way that these players have been helping out, especially younger players like Chad and Vital, to make their way this deep into the tournament is nothing short of astounding.
I'm sorry. I love that Chad comes from off screen with that keeper's verdict. Bringing that up, though, that's like really the story of this game. Every time Poppy is let through, Chad pops off on it, and it's the keeper's verdict. He knows who to kick out of these fights, when to do it, and it makes for such a disadvantaged situation that Team Liquid have to keep walking into that they just don't respect.
It's been crazy, right? Again, like, Immortals have so much confidence, and I like their compositions. I like that they're drafting quite a bit better because it allows them to play it as kind of straightforward style. They haven't necessarily needed to go for a bunch of big flanks, and they just kind of naturally find themselves in strong flanking positions, right? Vital, while he wasn't playing with the team this time, he's had so many big ultimates throughout this series thus far. He creates a ton of space for the rest of his team, and just the crowd control necessary for players like Pretty to dive in.
I think that's the most incredible part. It's like, you can have all the doubts you want about the different pieces of Immortals, but when we're seeing a series like this, when we're seeing, you know, the tanks in the top, being able to see Vital be a functioning member of the team, but also, like, I can't put enough praise onto Pretty, right? Like, he is picking apart so many of these fights. I know we have so much to say about Immortals as a whole and each member, right? But Pretty, like, on top of Insanity's performances yesterday, and now seeing Pretty pop up like this in these moments, it truly is that growth that we love to see within a season, right? Especially in the developmental scene, Joshi.
And Pretty has been one of these players that I looked at the beginning of summer and said, if Pretty is going to make it to LCS, it's going to be based on the performance that he's going to have in summer 2022, right? All the mages coming back into the meta, his ability to play, in particular, Talia and Azir, which have been some of the best champions that we've had so far this split. And just his natural love of playing these longer fights has allowed him to really excel. And it felt as though even in the games where Immortals were kind of struggling, he was consistently playing well, and in the games where the rest of the team was doing well, he was popping off, right? The number of times he's gotten double-digit kills or assists in these games is absolutely wild.
Yeah, it really is. And we got to see a lot of the highlights from Immortals in that last game just now, but we do have a little bit of a bonus round of Yordle ready to go for you guys. And
Eric.
you know, I'm hoping. I got Eric here. I got to throw him all the words. Come on. All right, so we got one more going for you. Now, this one, again, will be representative of the last series, or I guess this series or last game. Okay.
Don't hate it.
Again, 6-letter word, 5 guesses. Do you want to go with that?
Wait, verdict is 7 letters.
That's not 6 letters. Oh, okay.
Darn.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna go into the timeout corner. Josh, please.
Verdict. All right, what do you guys want to go for your first one? Okay.
Well,
let's take some time to get
again, a lot of the words that I was thinking about this game have either an E or a P in them, and so I kind of want to start with Pretty again, even though it's got a double letter.
Just go with Pretty.
Just go with Pretty.
You want to just lock in Pretty? I mean, that's a pretty safe bet. Not gonna lie.
There you
Got
go.
it. I'll do my own.
All right, production.
Let's lock in
Pretty.
Pretty as our first one yet again. See if we can get it going.
Suspense.
Do we need that music going?
Pretty.
It is Pretty.
Who's our Joanna White today?
Hey, look at that.
Oh
look at that.
my god.
Okay.
Look at that. Coming up dubs again. So you got E in the right place, T in the right place, and Y somewhere within.
All right, how cursed do you think we're going, Eric? Do you think that Y is at the beginning?
And the next letter's E?
Yep. The problem is, I don't know what the last 2 letters would be.
What kind of word? What kind of word is actually gonna come down to that? All right.
Yeeter.
Can we do something really cursed and go yeet M-E-M?
Yeet 'em.
Yeet 'em.
Yeet 'em.
Yeet
It's really cursed. I
All
don't
right,
know if it'll accept it.
Let's try it. Alrighty then, look at that. You magically somehow have found 5 of the letters. Oh man! Oh, so the avenues here are endless. I'm glad that we have the Academy Doctor Strange here because the possibilities here from here on out are crazy. I don't know what you can do. I don't know what you have in store for us with the Eye of Agamotto. But let's see what you got, Josie. What could it? What word could this be?
There's only one letter that makes sense to me at this point to go into the last
I
spot,
like
right?
yeeter.
I think it's yeet. I mean, but we already have an R. We know it's not an R, right? I really feel like it has to be a D for yeet.
All right, I need you to do the whole Doctor Strange, like, you know, looking into the eye, like make sure it's the right future.
Okay. Well, I have this handy. But maybe we can go into a future where it does have the last letter ready. It's a D. Yeeted.
Is it yeeted? Are we gonna get the yeeted moment?
I was thinking in my mind.
Let's go ahead and see it. Oh no!
No, Joey,
Oh, there we go! The 5th one! You got 1 step away from getting it wrong. Dr. Strange sees all the possibilities, especially
I didn't see that one.
Oh
You're...
my goodness! What a way! Yeah, you said it in the cast, SRX, and me and Kelsey. Kelsey had the great idea, but we were just laughing because it was so true. Chad just absolutely yeeted the entire team of Team Liquid Honda Academy almost out of the series. It's not even just the game.
Sorry, I'm trying to recover right now because that actually caught me off guard so hard. Yeah. Just yeet. And just full on go in and team fight. That was the name of that's the battle plan. It says it. You go look at the coach's handbook and it says yeet 'em, kill 'em, win the game. Done.
We are having
fairly straightforward.
Guys, unfortunately, we are having some technical difficulties. We are going to have to send it to a little break. We will be back. We will actually get to see the Ayla documentary once again. So have fun.
Woo!
League was kind of just a fun game to play, to pass time, and to hang out with your friends. But eventually, I found it really rough to sort of continue the normal high school life. You kind of forget, or you kind of realize that there's no meaning to your life, or at least that you know. You kind of don't know what you want to do in life. You don't really enjoy studying. You don't really enjoy going to school. And yeah, that was how it was for me. I kind of hated my life at the time in high school. Gradually, I realized I could actually have a goal to chase in life. And I think that's really important. And I think a lot of people struggle to find that reason. I really pushed myself to sort of take the league route. And at the time, it was a very risky journey because in OS, especially, the money that League of Legends players earn is below minimum wage. Like the amount of hours you'll put in, because you would play full time for like the majority of the year. In my eyes, that was like the only option I had. Like there was no way I was going to go through high school and go through college. So coming into OPL, my expectations were shattered a bit. I wasn't as good as I thought I would be, because I did not have the easiest 2 years in OPL. It was very hard learning and adapting to becoming a pro player and what I strive to be. If people did say that I was choking in finals, I think it would be deserved. I know myself more than anyone, and I personally blame myself for both of the losses.
I've never heard a player like be so critical of themselves after a big game. Experience counts a lot when you get towards things like finals, best of fives, those clutch moments. And I think that he just had to play his way through them. I don't think he ever played spectacularly poorly.
The answer is nothing. Hexa Cultivating goes down. And now we're going to look at the end. Surely with the Cosmic Radiance on every single member of this game, they go for the Nexus. They're going to go for the end. And it was that dramatic that the game just froze right there.
Split 1, we'll play against a team called Direwolves, and we'll up 1 game to 0. We're about to be up 2 games to 0, and all of the PCs disconnected as we were hitting the Nexus. But the game was over. But the officials wanted to chrono break because they felt like it was still not a done deal, and it took an hour and 15 minutes to chrono break the game. We come back after that, we win the game in like 25 seconds, and then we get reverse swept.
Losing 2 finals in a row in like sort of a dominant fashion really puts a lot of doubt in your mind about whether you're a good player, whether this is the right path for me. Because for me, League of Legends was my whole life. There was sort of no plan B. It took several months for me after each finals, both on Chiefs and on Order, to sort of recover from that.
And yeah, we'd go on runs together. And at the time, we were sponsored by Red Bull, and we actually did a fundraising run, like a charity run.
Our goal we set was 15 kilometers. We practiced for like 2 months or something, constantly running every day. And I think over the time, I sort of realized how much effort you have to put into being healthy and the amount of discipline it takes to get better at things. Like you kind of sort of do it every day, give yourself time to rest, but also work really hard every day. And yeah, we practiced really hard, and in the end, both of us ended up running the full 15 kilometers, and very proud and like a moment I would never forget.
I'm telling you, Phil is going to North America! Phil is going to North America! Phil is the best of them! Holy! Phil is so... What a leg!
Hearing that the OPL would get disbanded was very rough to hear, because I really wanted to win the OPL, and knowing that it would get disbanded would mean my future. At least at the time, I thought my future would be over. But it came with a silver lining, because obviously Riot announced that host residents wouldn't be considered as important anymore in NA.
I needed people that knew the culture that I was going to bring to a team. So it was always a non-negotiable that I brought at least one player with me, and that was always going to be Ayla.
It was a really big surprise for me when he first asked me to like go with him to NA and play on Team Liquid, because obviously Team Liquid has like superstar players in the LCS team, and it was like a super honor for me. And also, I think it's playing with Spawn and Ayla again. I think I like playing with them a lot, and just being with them again. Like, we couldn't win in Order, and winning on Team Liquid would be like a dream come true, right? So it worked out in the end, and we did get we won Academy and Proving Grounds now, so yeah, it's been a really good experience.
The one sad thing is like I feel like there is no better support than Ayla in LCS. So I don't know, like I'm sad that I can play in here right now, but I'm sad that I can't play against potentially the second best support player in LCS.
Having Core like publicly say that he thought I was second best support, I was surprised by that. I was very honored to hear that, but I don't think it really changed my confidence. I know that I'm very good. I just know I'll have to prove it first. So while people might say that I'm second best, I know that it will just take time to show, and that when I come to LCS, I will be able to prove that I can be whatever I want to be, and I want to be the best support ever.
We see kind of last split when he's the experienced player playing that best of 5, game 5, against maybe a younger support in Busio. It's actually, Ayla that has the big turnaround play on Renata to secure the game for us.
Oh, yeah. They want to look for it, and now the counter engage might be available. Look at Busio. He's already popped the quickness, ready to defend his backline. So he turns his attention towards Jimmy instead. But Team Liquid don't fight the engagement. Now they're on this jump point. This barn horn is going to be so massive. But the whole full takeover from Yon and Ayla. The best bot lane in Academy. Turn the fight around.
Busio goes down, trying to protect Wixie. It is disaster for the Thieves, as that ult from Ayla, the best player we have in Academy.
If coaches and other players are seriously not looking at him and being like, yo, this guy should play LCS, I genuinely think there is nothing else I can do or he can do. Like, maybe I can get an LCS job and take him with me. It's like the honest answer to that, because I think he has done more than enough.
Down the line, I would say I want people to look up to me as sort of an inspiration to their lives. I think if they realize what I've come through in the past, how much work I've done, and sort of what I had to push through to come to where I have, I think people would hopefully use that as an inspiration, sort of to push themselves to pursue their dreams, do whatever they want to be, whether it be League of Legends or not. But just make sure that they keep pursuing their dreams and making sure that even though they might come into obstacles, whether it be, failing once, twice, or even 3 times at whatever they want to do, just making sure that they know that it's always possible in the end if you try hard enough.
Welcome back to the LCS Proving Grounds, and in the midst of a crazy best of 5, an upset best of 5, as has been the last couple days. It's honestly been incredible to watch. First of all, Dignitas Academy's rise, but now Immortals Progressive Academy coming at Team Liquid Honda Academy with full force, right? 2-0 up in the series, and it's also just about the way that it's happened, right? And Joshi, let's give a little bit of a walk down memory lane so far for the first 2 games, because it has been Immortals answering the styles that Team Liquid have been trying to pull out.
Yeah, we've been seeing that Team Liquid, their early games have actually been fairly clean. They're not necessarily giving over a whole lot of any of their lanes, right? We've been seeing Bradley consistently pushing Vital around to start things off, but it's in the mid game where their composition starts to matter a little bit more, that they're starting to really struggle. They're not necessarily able to walk into the objectives the way that they actually want to do so, and it's meaning that it feels as though something that we have credited Team Liquid with so much, their ability to make plans, is really kind of shattered based on the way that Immortals have been drafting.
Chad at the start of the season told me he wanted to develop his own unique playstyle. It kind of started off with the Kha'Zix and Rengar that we saw at the start of the split in summer, and now he's been kind of evolving that more, not playing towards that high risk that he was doing before, playing a little bit more stock standard, not going for these big invades against a veteran such as Armeo. It is working so well. He placed a bot lane. You saw what happened in game number 2. It sets up Arrow and Joey for some great success. He's doing it in game number 1 as well. What we're seeing from Chad is he's actively and very aggressively playing for his lanes.
It's actually been really interesting to see the adaptation. I also just got a shout out. These are clips from the first game of the series. I mean, Team Liquid, they posted out the Armeo Belveth, and they got answered too by the Chadster on the Poppy. I mean, it was incredible to see again just the responses from Immortals, Joshi.
It has been really strong, and so far, again, I feel as though it has been important to point out the fact that Chad and Arrow in particular, as players, were players that we've been fairly critical of. But there's hard to level criticism at them so far in this series. While they've had a couple of missteps early on, right? There's a 2v2 kill coming in for Jan and Ayla to start off with. We have been seeing that Chad not necessarily able to get his first gank off all the time. After that, he's coming up really big. They're consistently looking for opportunities to save everybody else on the team, and they're not getting caught out against a team that has been so good at abusing vision during the regular season.
Yeah, it's that abuse of vision, but as well as like just, man, feels so bad. Armeo tries so hard that moment just to try to get something back, right? And like, that's where I know we can talk about the disappointment for Team Liquid a lot, but as well as like you still see some of those bright moments and some of those potentially, like even in the second game, there were moments where I was like, Elder's coming up, Elder's coming up. All right, let's see what happens. But in all actuality, Desrex, it's been the slamming of the door, I guess, for Immortals.
Yeah, it's been a very brutal one. If Team Liquid are going to come back, this is the time where I would want some of that veterancy from Armeo to really start to shine, right? Because he's been in the scene for quite a while. You know, back in 2016, played a little bit for Echo Fox, was only a sub for that squad. Didn't really get to see him until 2018 when his big break with TSM came. And through all those years of playing League of Legends, he's gone through hard times, you know? He went through that TSM roster that didn't make it to Worlds for the first time in the org's history. He got sent back to Academy. But what does he do? You know, he doesn't let that phase him. You know, back then, Academy was underdeveloped. It felt like a pro retirement home. It felt like a death sentence. Look at what he's been doing over the past 2 years. You know, when he joined Team Liquid Academy, it was a 10th place team, and he has worked hard and tirelessly to pull this team up through every single roster change it's gone through to get them into that championship spot. Now it's another test for him, the biggest one yet, as he is going to be in a situation where Team Liquid have their backs against the wall, just one loss away from that elimination.
I also feel like you're going to be talking about, you know, Armeo, formerly Grig, going up against another very storied player coming in from the EU side of things, right? Pretty has also had a lot of success. While he hasn't played in LEC, he has been one of these players that has been very strong in the European regional leagues for quite a while, right? He's made it to 3 separate EU Masters events, which is, you know, for people who are coming in from EU, roughly equivalent to like our academy. You take all of the different European regional leagues based on mostly each country or sometimes larger regions in Europe, and then you have them play up against each other at the very end. And to his credit, we have seen that he has gotten, you know, 3rd in 2019 and 5th as recently as 2020 before he came over to North America, where he's been playing in academy ever since.
Yeah, and we're seeing now the second game of the series as well, and just again the adaptation. Even this one, right? Like, we were gonna do a game show ahead of time called Would You Rather, and this was one of the highlight clips for me because it was like such a tight back and forth, right? Everybody getting a little bit of something. The triple kill for Jan, but then things just, the dominoes start falling against Immortals and Team Liquid. Again, they had a nice early game, they had a nice setup, but the yeeted experience coming out from Chad Deserex.
Yeah, Chad, he is putting an exclamation point onto this game. He's putting an exclamation point on the entire run of Immortals so far. I want to take you back to the regular season, because we've already stated it before. Chad kind of just would coin flip the very first play. He is playing much more composed, much better against a squad that you know you need this early game presence. You can't forfeit a lot of early game agency over to Team Liquid because they will run with it. They were the best early game team in the regular split by a long shot. That's a hard challenge to have to face in Proving Grounds. I mean, Chad has rise to the occasion oh so well. Great experience on him, great experience on Pretty, and both of them as a unit. I just love the collective that they're bringing here for Immortals.
I have to highlight, though, as well, it's not only the gameplay that we're seeing from Immortals Progressive, but it's the vibes. And like we're seeing pictures of them all going out to dinner together. I know, you know, at least for the LCS team
tour.
Immortals, the house tour, they love to go to Dave & Buster's, at least when they're winning, when things go well. And I think you get to see a lot of the synergies within the team, a lot of the personalities be flexed. Like the relationship between Arrow and Joey that we got to see in the house tour was actually incredible. And it was so wholesome. It was so nice. And knowing that those vibes, knowing that the idea from Joey and Pretty are to try and elevate the players around them, and to know that that synergy, that cohesion is coming from a lot of the personalities blending so well together, Joshi.
And I really like going to look at how Joey is, because I love seeing him in like the shoulder content that we have whenever we have interviews with him. When he got to talk about the different ways they had the house tour, I think my favorite part of the whole thing was when we actually went to their scrim room, and he's like, yeah, every day before scrims I come into this room and I sit and I stare at a picture of Arrow's face for 5 minutes before we actually have an opportunity to play any scrims. I do this with every AD carry. Don't feel special about it, Arrow. You just happen to be my AD carry right now. There are many AD carries. This one is mine.
Yeah, and it's also nice to hear the adaptation, right? He's changing the pictures in his background now to getting to see a little bit more of Arrow in his current form. But again, it's just that synergy that at once I felt like we talked about a lot for Team Liquid as well. But it seems to be this momentum and this just avalanche that Immortals is presenting us in Proving Grounds, Deserex.
You know, it's one thing to go through good times together. You don't get really tested then. If you go through bad times together and you can still keep a smile on your face, that is the true test. That is true camaraderie. And I think that is the case for Immortals. You saw a lot of the content. Yeah. You did a lot of the content, Marcel. You saw how they were. They were a team that was, you know, from week to week. Some weeks they were just having bad, terrible ones where they would get clapped. I remember the old tweet that Chad put, no one beats Immortals 10 times in a row. But being able to joke in a situation like that and just laugh it off and go on to the next game, it's a big asset.
Yep, it absolutely is.
I'm curious how they're going to be doing, because it's a little early to say that they're already going to be going to the next round, but they're definitely favored from this position. And so we have to look at the fact that they're going to be going up against 2 killers in their own right. They are going to have to play either against AoE Ginger Turmeric in the top 4, again, if that would be the first amateur team to ever go to a LAN, or 100 Thieves Academy, who a lot of people have been looking at as the second place team from what we were seeing, the other team that made it to finals in the spring Proving Grounds. And I'm kind of curious how you guys are expecting Immortals to stack up against these teams when they're doing so well against what we were expecting to be the number 1.
It's a tough question, right? Because for me, emotion, motivation, a lot of it comes from the momentum that's built by winning series, playing together, having kind of that behind the scenes synergy. And that starts adding to the table a lot for Immortals Progressive, and I could see a run from them coming out so huge, especially from the confidence built already in this series. Like, if they come away with a 3-0 victory over Team Liquid, that says leaps and bounds of the growth we've seen from the entire team, and especially being able to see them kind of crest that into the remaining teams, as you were kind of saying.
Okay,
Eric,
if
they lost to AGT.
if we're talking future and what's going to happen in the bracket,
Yeah.
Cubby, if you're listening right now, AGT is a top 4 team. They're going to beat 100 Thieves Academy. I'm just doing that out there right now. So if you want to know what team they're facing next, it's going to be AoE Ginger Turmeric.
Okay.
Of course, I'm just putting the spicy bets now because I like to try and flame Cubby in any way I can. But aside from that, I mean, the competition that they're coming up against next, it's definitely still a challenge because, as you said, AGT did beat Immortals. I don't want to jump on that too much because we could see what happens if it's AGT versus Team Liquid. We could get the rematch still of Team Liquid versus 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see the kind of different avenues, the different branches, if you will. But in all actuality, looking at this series a little bit more, looking at the matchup that I feel like is going to lead a lot of the conversation, a lot of the talking points, a lot of the resources for both these teams, it is Chad and Armeo needing to be the general, maybe a little bit regal at some point, bringing out the Belveth. But we actually got to hear Chad on Armeo, and especially going in Game 3 couldn't be more important.
People from the Team Liquid organization tell me that Armaz once said that Chad shouldn't be playing in NA, Chad should be playing in LPL because of all the crazy stuff I do sometimes. In this last split, I've definitely toned down the aggression, and I've definitely been doing invades a lot less and early ganks a lot less compared to last split. So I'd say that makes it even easier going into best of 5s because I'm even more unpredictable. Last split, you could say, Chad is going to gank for sure, but now I could just full clear normally, right? So I think that adds even more surprise to what we're going to do, and I think Armel might be expecting too much cheese, and he'll just lose the center play.
Always love hearing from Chad, and especially in terms of the matchup we have at hand, Joshi.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot to say. He always has a lot to say on basically everyone. He loves tripping people back and forth. I think back to his fond rivalry that he had with XU throughout most of their co-career in spring and now in summer as well, which is, kind of been put on the back burner while XU is playing for the Dignitas LCS squad. But this was supposed to be a bit of a David versus Goliath, right? Chad, the young upstart, going up against one of the longest tenured veterans that we have currently in the academy space, who has been carrying his team so many times across the finish line. And to his credit, Armeo is still playing quite well so far today. On the Olaf, we didn't necessarily see as many bright moments, but on the Belveth, he was definitely the one who was able to build up a lot of early game leads for Team Liquid.
When we talk about Armeo being the general, it kind of throws me back to very, very old TSM. We're talking Season 1, Season 2 TSM. Maybe part of Season 3 he was on that roster. Odd one. The original general. It's kind of funny because when I look at it in context of their seasons, they play almost a very similar style, where Odd One wasn't someone who was this mechanical god. He was very smart in his decision making. That's the same thing we see of Armeo. I think it's a very good title for him to take on after Odd One, excuse me.
So here, years and years later, we got to see if Armeo can actually step up to be the carrier for the team. He has set up his lanes for a lot of opportunities, but I kind of want to look at things that I want to see happen come through in the next draft. One, I want to see them actually just taking down Pretty's champion pool. He's shown that he can play plenty of different things. You gotta start attacking the rest of the draft. And
ban who, Josh?
Already failed to ban Poppy twice.
They did.
Take it or ban it.
I will say I think we do have a little preview or look at the picks and bans here. So I think we can actually check this one out and see what we have going on as nicely done. So we'll actually have the picks and bans going down for the game. As we were saying earlier, some technical difficulties aside, we actually get to look at the picks and bans for this third game where, guys, Team Liquid Honda Academy, one game away. Hey, we finally get it. Let's go. On the most important game, they finally pick it up here, Joshi. Happy?
Let's go. Okay, so that's only step one. Right now, it's about actually executing on this pick. And we are seeing a lot of focus down towards the mid laners as well, as Talia, LeBlanc, and Azir taken off the table. And of course, Joey's Yumi has been banned 3 games in a row. for everything people feel about that champion, Team Liquid also not thrilled to see it come through, and instead, Chad going right over towards the Vi.
All right, so the Vi going to be picked up there. I love it. I love it. I love seeing Vi. It was one of my favorite champions in times past, so I got excited when I started seeing it in the jungle role. Got more excited when I got to see it in the support role. We'll see if that can actually be the case. I'm looking at what's left on the table. Going for the marksman pick. What pops up in my mind is going to be the Ahri. It's something still available. One of the last mobile mages still on the table for Pretty. For now, Immortals feel more comfortable with that Aphelios lock-in.
Man, I love to see the arrow of Aphelios come through, though. I mean, we've seen it clutch out those late game performances, so not too shabby.
I'm almost expecting another Tom Kench as well to be coming out from Immortals at this point, right? There's lots of cool things that you can do, allow Arrow to be a little bit more aggressive. It's why the Aphelios Thresh was so popular for so long. But now Team Liquid, they're going to be mixing it up. It's not the Callista, which I'm definitely happy for. Instead, going to be hovering the Xayah. And Xayah almost always paired with a Rakan at this point, right? You're not necessarily seeing a whole lot of other supports come through, and it can definitely attack both Arrow and Joy at the same time. The quickness can lock both of them down and prevent Joy from actually eating up Arrow when the push comes to shove.
Josh.
Oh.
Oh. All right. Oh. Attack getting locked in.
Oh.
More utility, more protection. Josh, I want to ask you, now that we've had 2 drafts where you were definitely not liking what Team Liquid were bringing, this new draft is feeling much better. It's a bigger breath of air. The Poppy already locked in. I do like the agency that they have in the bottom lane. How are you feeling about it now for Team Liquid, Josh?
Feeling like Goldilocks, man.
Feeling
Game
better?
1, too big. Game 2, bit too small. But
Just
Game 3, we are just
pretty good the Ahri, though.
Ahri's good. There's a lot of point-and-click tools coming out from Immortals, and we're putting a lot of pressure right now on Yan, and luckily he does have the support of Ayla, but his ultimates have to be on point, right? He can cancel out Chad's ultimate as long as he uses the timing right, but there's still other tools coming through. If he gets rooted up by Aphelios, if he gets hit by a charm coming out from the Ahri, his position is still very difficult. And so, we're going to be putting a lot of emphasis on Team Liquid to actually start kiting back, right? They don't have necessarily a lot of tools to be going forward in these fights, and now we have to see how they're going to try and support that. The Talia was the first thing I always think of when I see these kind of compositions, but it already got banned away.
You take it away, Deserex. I'm a bystander here.
I thought you were along for the ride with us.
I'm a play-by. We do the same thing, Deserex.
Yeah.
We do the same thing.
I'll say one ban.
I'm over here with the oohs.
I'll say one ban. I'll say one ban. You get the other. All right, Lissandra, banned away. Go, Mazel.
I don't know what to do. Nautilus.
All right, there we go. That's what they're going. Let's look at the lanes now they're going. Actually, Josh,
remember when this was how they used to do TriCast?
Yeah.
2 play-by-plays in one color. Thank God
That's
we've
the
evolved
good
past
days.
that. But...
The good days. Oh, excuse you.
All
right, that's it. Kick Joshi out. It's double play-by-play time.
Oh no. We're gotta get Magical in here to color cast as well.
Man.
But as we start looking towards the end of this, as the Olaf does get banned away, we have to look at how Bradley and Vital are going to be playing up against each other. So far, Bradley has done a fantastic job in the laning phase. Even though he missed out on a couple of kills in game 1 on the Akali, his Gwen still had a 40 CS lead in the laning phase going up against Vital, with only a little bit of help coming out from Armeo. Now if they can put Vital in an uncomfortable lane matchup once again, as Immortals have tended to be picking up their top laner in this spot, it could really allow Bradley to take control of the game.
I mean, Team Liquid really do like having that counter pick into Vital. Into the top side in general, Bradley, most of the time, 3 out of 4 games, he will have a counter pick available for him. However, for Immortals, just going to lock in the Leona. Now, with the Leona, typically it's a situation where if you fall behind early, you do kind of become paper. For Joey, he's really good as we get something spicy. I got to drop that completely. Swain and Fiora, Team Liquid.
I need a glove. What do you need a glove for?
I don't have a glove. I want to drop the gauntlet. Cause oh my god.
This is a big statement coming through from Team Liquid, right? We already see the Fiora getting blinded into Vital's gangplank. This is one of Vital's best characters and also one of Bradley's best characters, but they're kind of flipped a little bit and who's actually playing them. But I actually really like the Swain coming through. Ahri's burst damage is generally not enough to actually kill Swain, and with double melee champions, there's a lot of champions for him to just sit there and lifesteal off of over the course of these long fights. And so Team Liquid, I really like this composition that they've drafted for themselves. We'll see if Immortals' momentum is something that they can overcome.
Yeah, I'm to the moon on this one, especially in this top lane matchup. I am completely to the moon on this because when Vital first came in, everything we were talking about was around his solo queue play, and his solo queue play said he was a great Fiora player. Completely flipped side when it comes to Bradley and his Gangplank, who went undefeated all the way into the summer split. So it's that gauntlet you were talking about, Mazel. It makes it so exciting for me. And of course, we have two junglers who have very, very big sayings and what goes on over onto this top side with the Poppy and the Vi.
I just have to shout out, the mid jungle duos in this one, so important, right? We finally get Armeo on the Poppy, but as well as an answer to Pretty, hopefully, in the mid lane for Harry, who I feel like needs to really find his traction in this series as a whole. I think the Swain will give some of that stability you were talking about, Joshi.
So we'll see what they end up doing, right? It is a very different draft coming through for Chad. Vi, just the character, is definitely a character that has so much agency at level 1.
Yep. Well, game is finally ready to go. Technical difficulties. Get out of here. We're going to game.
Bye, Lennon.
All right. Put that all to the side. This might be our final game right here, Josh, but Team Liquid, they don't want that to be the case. Changing up the draft completely, and something that we both can definitely appreciate.
And also, I know you guys are memeing about NA production right now. I want to give a shout out so far to Esports Engine, who have been with us every step of the way. They've been doing a fantastic job, and hopefully you've appreciated everything that they've been doing for you guys as well. But as we get into this last game, it is going to be Immortals 2-0 already up here up against Team Liquid. They are ready to try and take this one down and get a clean 3-0 sweep.
Josh, did I just hear that from you? You said
what?
As we come into this last game. Are you saying Immortals already have this?
I think they're favored from this position. Even though I like the Team Liquid draft better, there is still a lot of momentum coming through from Team Liquid, and the pressure is mounting for, we talk about Ayla as one of these players that was had a reputation for choking in the big moments, and part of why his teams weren't able to go to Worlds. But you know who else was on that squad? Harry. Harry was able to play with Ayla for a long period of time, and they were both trying to find these ways to win in clutch moments. And now the pressure is mounting. They have to make sure that they turn this around. If they go down 3-0, it would be one of the worst mental defeats I think either of these players could have.
Be one of the biggest mental booms we've seen in Proving Grounds, that is for sure. Now, as we get to the pathing of both of these junglers, Chad will be going for the reverse clear right here, as he does clear out his red buff and head straight to the blue. Armeo, taking his time on this end, will end up on the bottom side.
And Chad on this Vi, definitely a character that wants to be a little bit more proactive early on in the game. He wants to make sure that he can try and find things to happen, because Vi has a bit of a V-shaped curve, right? You are very strong for the first couple of levels, and then you are very strong when you hit level 6, but then after that, you need your tank stats to kind of catch up with how effective you are early on in the game. Your damage tends to fall off at that point because you're mostly reliant on your Q and ultimate one-shotting somebody. After that, you need more tank stats to really take off again and be able to survive the counterpunch that oftentimes comes through. And if Chad can get far enough ahead of that, he will never have that dip in the mid-game.
Now, taking a look over at this top side, Bradley will be pushing this wave a lot. Gangplank scales quite well, and Vital has been able to utilize that scaling before week 6 against Golden Guardians Academy. Started with Vital getting a solo kill against Concept, and then he just carried the living daylights out of the late game. So very proficient in this champion, but the thing is, you got to get past these early stages, and that's no easy task when you have a laner as good as Bradley.
Yeah, that was cute too. Bradley just walking up, using his regular auto attack to proc the Vital, and then walk backwards in order to use the lunge. You know, it's a lot of good things coming out from Bradley. He's definitely a player that has had a whole lot of progress in terms of his ability to play top lane champion. He came in as, again, the one player that felt a bit out of place on what was otherwise a well-oiled machine, but he's been grinding, he's been putting in the extra hours, coming in order to make sure that he's not going to be that weak link. And ever since that, he's been looking darn good so far in Proving Grounds during the regular season. It's part of why he started getting the nickname Chadley.
Now, the general paths over towards the bottom side, but it's going to be a full clear into the reset. No problem. All while action is coming down in the bottom lane. An engage out of Joey, still looking for more onto Ayla. Arrow cannot continue the kill onto Ayla. Ayla, fortunately for him, he will keep his flash, but not done is Joey. Wants to get the other flash on top of it of Jan. Jan one auto away from falling, drinking that health potion. Will stay alive, but that early aggression, we saw it in game 1, we saw it in game 2. This is how Immortals play, and Pretty's coming down.
Pretty's almost here. Jan spots him out. No charm. Okay, they end up walking away. But you know what caused Joey to go for that play?
What?
He saw Armeo back on a ward.
Right,
Armeo was sitting in that tri-brush, and as soon as Armeo's back completed, Joey full sends it. Jan and Ayla have to back up. It was a huge opportunity for Joey, and now, with all of the summoners burned, all the combat summoners, only the flashes left alive, it creates a small window for Arrow and Joey to try and move around the map. And look at this, Joey already out on the map looking for an opportunity to go mid. And Arrow's backstopped by Harry, a little bit, you know, a little bit cheeky.
A nice little early reset coming out from Joey. And he's got a little bit of extra time. He's not rushed to get down into that bottom lane, as Arrow just did take his reset. So he will be hovering around this mid lane until Pretty looks to get out of there. Armeo putting some presence over into that position. But so far, early aggression going the way of Immortals bot lane. Elsewhere on the map, mostly even other than Bradley, who has taken a strong CS lead over on this top side against Vital.
Bradley's been interesting, right? Because a lot of other top laners in the ecosystem have been crediting Bradley as one of the better top laners that we have in the Academy ecosystem, right? It's typically Tenacity is the first name out of people's mouth, but Bradley is not far behind. And this is up against players like Darshan, who have been around for a long time in terms of their ability to play. And Bradley consistently beating a lot of them. Serdia often talks about how he only really looks at one top laner in Tenacity, but Bradley is one other player that you need to give respect to.
Now look at this positioning coming out. Team Liquid playing with the bottom lane. Armeo walks out onto Chad and Joey, blocking their path over towards the bottom lane. But no one willing to take the fight here. Rightfully so. Immortals don't really have the priority to play without Armeo standing in the wings. Would just block out a lot with that steadfast presence. But every time they see Armeo walk away, that's when Immortals are like, all right, now it's time to control the map and get our foot back into place.
And Harry's still over in the mid lane, pushed in a little bit, but Armeo is back around. We're seeing a contest come through from Team Liquid.
All right, Armeo setting up, waiting for the Vault Breaker. Zenith Blade will not land on Armeo. Cooldown's now burning away as Armeo still trying to hold. Will get caught by the Shield of Daybreak. Forward is pretty low on mana, but still gets the kill with the Spirit Rush. Will get a double kill. Immortals with a double to start Game 3.
And a huge play coming through. Vital with the global ultimate, creating that slow field. Joey traded splash for Jan not long prior. And so Immortals coming out to a big lead right off the bat. And as you said, 2 kills going right on over to Pretty. He's been so big. His ability to find plays and charms throughout this series has been instrumental to their opportunity to win.
So big indeed. Has been in top 4 multiple times in Proving Grounds. The very last one in spring and in summer as well, alongside Joey. He can perform. Back in our meetings, you know, we have a little sheet with all the narratives. Immortals just said Pretty Show. It is the Pretty Show. And right now, well, welcome to the Pretty Show. Hope you're enjoying the viewing party.
And so Team Liquid, they still have a composition that will be able to play, but having to play from behind with this kind of composition is so much more difficult. You're seeing already Jan, we didn't really talk about this, but on the Zaya, he's going for lethality. He's got the Hail of Blades. This says to me that he's looking to go for an Eclipse style build, which is very pokey, not necessarily the same kind of direct team fight damage. He wants to get all the damage out in a quick burst, but Bradley and Harry, that's not necessarily the way that they want to play these champions. So Immortals, I don't think they've already forced some concessions out of Team Liquid.
And such control over this bottom side. Jan and Ayla, one of the best bot lanes we have just been pushed to the limit by Immortals. Thanks to Chad often hovering down here, and thanks to the smart play that we've seen from this bot lane duo. Now Immortals pressing their advantage. Arrow needing to shove in this wave to set up for Pretty's dive. Chad waiting in the back.
Harry, is already here. This is a tough dive for them to actually go for it. Armeo on the opposite side of the map. Harry.
Shield of Daybreak. They're going straight for Harry. They're not even going for the dive, realizing that Harry is far away from the tower, but going down is going to be Chad. Return of kills for Team Liquid. 2 net back-to-back consecutively. Harry still has a lot of damage to bring, so you got to be careful if you're on. But here is the
Here's
Feather
Armeo.
Storm, and Armeo waiting over the wall. Can't get the slam just yet. Keeper's Verdict not going to land as well. Arrow still looking to bring it to Harry. Jan, Ayla, both very low here, and Pretty is feeling the momentum. They could turn this around, but Armeo has taken the walk. Arrow with the flash over the wall will keep himself alive. And 4 members of Team Liquid Honda, they fight back. They get 2 kills, but it was oh so close to turning to Immortals.
Pretty doing so much work actually to keep Arrow alive in there, but they end up giving 2 kills over. We have to remember that was a play started by Immortals trying to go for the dive, and we see a huge turnaround coming from Team Liquid. Team Liquid, they try and go for a little bit too much on the backside, and so even as we watch this play unfold, as we see Immortals go a little bit too far and the pressure of Swain coming through, enough.
Bradley, challenge goes off. And he will get the heal, but not get the kill onto Vital. Despite getting all 4 of those Vital procs, he will shove in this wave. No teleport available for Vital, so he would be losing out in a lot. Bradley now taking the recall. Vital going to wait it out.
Bradley going to commit to actually making the recall happen. Vital walks up. He has to be a little bit careful, but nobody is there to punish him. He needs to try and make sure this gets underneath the turret, and it won't quite make it there, right? The mains are going to actually block it off, and Harry and Armeo, are they going to try and commit to making it happen? You see the on my way pings.
Oh, they realize it's coming, and Vital, you've overstayed your welcome. Not taking the recall after that last wave went down is putting him in a bad situation where Harry could capitalize, and Bradley, see if he's going to be the recipient of the kill. No, it goes over to Harry.
And Harry is matching the number of kills that Pretty has picked up. He goes and finds another one top lane, but Chad's trying to make the play happen on the bottom side. Punch and punch.
Wrong place to be on Ayla, far from his marksman. So Joey going to set up the dive, flashes forward, shield of Daybreak, gets stunned. Out comes the Wild Growth, going golden, still trying to buy time for Chad, who does fall. A 1-for-1 trade in the bottom lane thanks to Ayla.
There you go, Ayla getting the flash on in. Jan didn't have his ultimate, Jan didn't have his flash, and it was all Ayla able to give him enough time to actually turn it around. A ton of pressure coming through, and Bradley at the same time hitting plates up in the top side. But this game is dead even, Eric. We are seeing that there's so much between these two teams as they try and test each other over and over again. Team Liquid dropping this Rip Charles in the mid lane to try and pick up some plays. They want Harry to be strong. If Harry gets big enough here, if he completes his Leandries and is able to take control of the fight around this upcoming dragon, that could be the plays that Team Liquid need to actually break it open. He's going to be late to the fight.
The zone control of a Swain, oh so pivotal in a lot of these team fights. Holds it down, now has that Leandries completed. But it, as you said, Josh, it's a long way to get back to this Dragon Pit, and Immortals are not going to wait. Starting it up now, Armeo will stay on this bottom side where he does have the backup of Ayla. Keeper's Verdict goes out, it gets rid of Arrow. No team fight right after, but it's enough to dissuade Immortals. They're not just going to get free Drakes like they have in the past games.
There's still smite opportunities. Remember, Chad's won a couple of these. He can't smite through his suppression, which Chad does have.
All right.
Just kidding.
Now caught out. Polymorph goes. Chad runs away. So the Drake will be secured by Team Liquid, playing a much better early game this time and not conceding a whole lot over to Immortals. Mayo is looking for more. Out comes the Assault and Battery. Cease and Desist now as it's named. Pretty will chase through onto our Mayo. Now still not going to find that. Going on to Harry, who steps a little bit too far forward into the mid lane. A kill picked right back to Pretty, but he's looking for more. Goes on to Armeo with the flash. Zenith Blade not close enough. Armeo will survive.
What was that, Harry? He just walked up and took like 3 turret shots. I know your W range is longer than that. I play that character too. There's something he was looking for there, but I think he got screwed up by the pathing. I think he was just looking at the mini-map, and so Harry ends up going down and giving a shutdown to the worst possible person for them. Immortals already have Pretty on this Leandries, able to burn through a ton of members, and he gets so much gold by taking down Harry as well in the mid lane, and this is very uncharacteristic from what we've seen. We've praised Harry a lot for his laning phase. We've praised Harry a lot for his mechanics over the entire season. And now, that was just a bit of a mind off. He needs to be able to see more than that. We need these guys to be playing to their maximum in this last game because it's only even, and Team Liquid have lost 2 games in a row when they had leads.
Harry's playing a supporting role in the Pretty Show. 4-0-0 so far is Pretty. This mid laner will be popping off for the early stages of this. Leandri's now completed, working on to that second item. Already has the Needless on top of it, so much income netted. It's now looking to alleviate some of the pressure would be Joey over towards his top side as Bradley has just been dominating. Harry wants to make sure that's not going to change anytime soon. Getting the lane swap to be called for Harry to make sure that Vital struggles over on this top side, even when Bradley's not there.
Yeah, and Harry, with no teleport, is just walking on up here, going to be pushing this in, but that leaves nobody to really defend the mid lane. And so, how are Team Liquid going to be allocating their lanes? It looks like the mid lane is going to be heading towards the bottom side, and Jan and Ayla are going to be taking up position in the mid lane. This has been one of the strongest parts about the Xayah historically, right? You can just put it in the mid lane and it can wave clear a lot like a Sivir. Team Liquid, they are losing control of this bottom side of the map. They haven't had control of this bottom jungle hardly at all. And now as they're starting to play for the Rift on the top side, Arrow's not there.
Okay, he's not there. That's still first brick though. Look at the gold. 800 gold lead coming out for Arrow over on that bottom side. You want a late game of Phelios, so even if you concede this for Immortals, you know, it is a give and take. Give up the Rift Herald to get a lot of that income and try and get Arrow online towards that late game stage earlier.
And you're already seeing pings towards the top side. It looks like they're going to be investing in the bank of Harry. Zarmeo moves up towards the top, but not going to be committing the Rift Herald just quite yet. And now Harry needs to be careful. He's got Pretty coming up to match him.
Will be spotted out by a ward though, so not too much of an issue. This tower very, very low, and so low to the point where Team Liquid want to claim this gold, sending 4 members up there.
Romeo is already here. Ooh, taking the turret. not been treating Team Liquid too well so far this game, but they already have 4 members, and Jan, the last one to exit. They try and make some plays happen towards the top side of the map, but Team Liquid stifled a little bit. Now, this is solving one of the problems. I was saying that it felt like they had no man, right? We've all heard of a yes man, but in League of Legends, you oftentimes need a no man. It's like, hey, let's go for this play, and you're like, no, hold on, hold your horses. We need to back up a little bit. And so far, Team Liquid have not had that so far this series, but they have solved it a little bit right now, and they should be able to get 2 turrets here in fairly rapid succession if they only play for them.
It's like the macro version of the Lee Syndrome. Full team version of it.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, Armeo?
Ooh, Armeo will use the Steadfast Presence. Blocks the Vault Breaker. Keeper's Verdict goes out. Knock up onto Joey, but here come the rest of Immortals looking to collapse onto Armeo, and Armeo gets low. Wild Growth not enough to keep him alive, but it's a trade of junglers going both ways. Jan receives 1 kill, Arrow gets the other.
It's just a straight back and forth, right, as the 2 junglers both go down. We are starting to see the impact that this gangplank can have across the map, even down over 30 CS at this point. And the fact that Bradley's consistently pushing him underneath the turret. Another turret goes down for Immortals, and that's more gold going over to Arrow specifically. Building up an 800 gold lead, just like we saw previously, might be enough for Arrow to take things down. And we always have to look at this guy. One of the most veteran players, has played for KT Rolster as one of his original teams, now coming on over after a long hiatus. And Immortals have oftentimes looked at this guy and had a lot of opportunities for him to kind of get caught out. They kind of stopped making plans in the mid game when things are even, when they weren't sure what to do. But that hasn't been a problem for them this series, and now they're starting up the dragon again.
This early game has definitely been the Pretty Show, but as we get later and later, late night TV is going to be for Arrow. Immortals starting up the Drake. Will claim the second Drake of the game. Team Liquid a little bit slow here, but looking for the fight nonetheless. Charm goes out and it stops Armeo from getting the wall slam. It doesn't put Chad in a good spot though. Jan will grab that kill and Immortals will head out. The Dragon secured. Rift Herald will charge into the mid lane and take that tower for Team Liquid.
Yeah, Distraction Carnifex was always up as they dropped the Rift Herald into the mid lane, and everybody going to have to back away. So it's a turret and a kill in exchange for the Dragon. When you're at this even of the game, it's basically an even trade, but this is going to be the big reward for Team Liquid, right? As they remain with more members on the map, they get the bot lane turret. Harry's already up in the top lane. Should be a second turret, and so all 3 turrets for Immortals falling in rapid succession.
And putting another situation for Team Liquid, looking away from the Immortals lead that's been picked up through a lot of these towers. It's the same thing going out for Bradley now. has done well over in the top lane. Now Pretty, one of the more fed characters, is getting targeted by Team Liquid. The tower goes down, and so does Pretty. A shutdown acquired for Harry.
There you go. Just as we were looking before at that Pretty show, now it's Harry making an argument that he's actually the main character of this movie. They already find a big shutdown, 700 gold going directly towards Harry. The gold lead has swung back towards Team Liquid. Nice.
Steadfast presence on the side, but look at that, canceling out the Keeper's verdict with the cease and desist. Follow through from Immortals is not enough. They will not fall. Team Liquid still staying alive despite the onslaught of Immortals Progressive.
They just walk on out, Team Liquid. They're able to get out yet again. This is what we were seeing from Team Liquid at the beginning of the season, what we've been seeing from Immortals during Proving Grounds. They get out with slivers of HP as people try and make plays on top of them. But Team Liquid, now they are in a position where it is all about Harry and what position he can find himself in. This Swain has the Rylai's completed. It can stand in the middle of all of these short to mid-range champions and slow them in place. But he needs to get there first, and he needs to not die. This job will be easier when he has the Zonias, but this is the first time where it feels as though he is the dominant factor in a lot of these fights.
Harry, despite everything in OPL, he showed up here in Academy and is dominating mid lane with conviction, looking for more. Now another solo laner steps up. It's going to be Bradley.
Harry
jumps straight on so Pretty and decimates him. Immortals full retreat called. Chad over the wall with the ball breaker. Joey just looking to defend his team with the Zenith. And like that, Team Liquid flip a switch.
Chadley, a nice little parry right under the charm, locks up Pretty, and now it's Bradley who's coming up big. He's the one who actually makes that play happen. Great stuff coming through from Team Liquid, and now they're threatening to actually hit the Baron. They're able to do this relatively healthily. They have all of their members around, and they mostly just want to bait people in to actually go for a fight. Look at this, Bradley and Ayla forming a screen.
Reigning defending champions. Don't want to go down in game 3. Match point for Immortals, so Team Liquid press down that gas pedal. Now Bradley holding the front line. The rest of Team Liquid going to walk around the pit to look to help out their top laner. Vault Breaker over the wall will keep Chad alive. Team Liquid don't collapse fast enough. Do get pulled off the Baron.
Don't end up getting anything for that. Well, they get the red buff, I suppose, for Yam, but that's a very small reward.
Ooh, out comes the solar flare. It lands on the Yam, but the Keeper's verdict. And like that, Immortals are getting completely dismantled and destroyed. 4 fall for Immortals as Team Liquid Honda will make it an ace and start the comeback in this best of 5.
And there we go. Harry finally finding his way back, and Team Liquid Baron take number 2. Here we go. We're shooting the scene yet again, but this time there's nobody in the Immortals who can actually try and take them down. Team Liquid. Eric, dare I say it? Is it too early? Can I say it? Do we have series on our hands?
Get on the back. Hold my tongue. Hold my tongue. 6K.
It's
6K.
6K Baron. We got another dragon to fight over.
Immortals got good scaling.
They got good scaling too. It is, there's still a game flank on the other team and Philios, but this is good. Armeo doing the thing that Chad was doing to Team Liquid this entire series long, keeping important members out of the fight. Joey wasn't there to lock him down, and Harry, yet again, just standing in the perfect position. Once you get inside that circle, it's very difficult to leave. Harry doing a fantastic job. 6-1-6 has the not the hourglass, but the stopwatch already completed. He can keep himself alive for so long, and now Team Liquid, they're not setting up for this dragon just quite yet. Is Bradley just gonna solo? I think he can.
Yeah, very much can. No issue there. Still sending resources over towards the top side will be Team Liquid Honda. And for Bradley, I mean, he's not worried. If we could take a look at the goal just to see how much of a difference Vital and Bradley really have here. My word, yeah, that's quite a bit to have racked up. 1.6k in favor of Bradley. So not fearing too much of this matchup against Vital. And especially when you have the rest of Team Liquid waiting around the corner. Not going to get there in time. Jan's still going to try, though, and he might have bitten off more than he can chew. Gets engaged on by Joey. Has to walk past the tower, but there is that Keeper's verdict against the wall. Pretty gets slammed, and Bradley cashes in. 2 down for Immortals as Team Liquid are walking around the rift and making this look oh so good in game number 3 after having such a rough start to the series.
I'm tearing up. I've missed little squirrel with a gun Jan just running at people so long. It's been weeks since we've gotten to see it. But Immortals, as you've already called out, they still have a good scaling composition. While Team Liquid are ahead right now, we're still waiting for the gameplay to really come online. It's only got 2 items completed. You still have a Fearless who only has 2 items online. But remember when we were talking about the 800 gold lead that we were so impressed that Arrow had built up? Jan is now up about 2k in the bottom lane. He's got so much more money than Arrow does at this point. And, oh,
Right.
John!
Alright, cease and desist. Onto Armeo. This is a desperation play. You don't have enough damage backing you up here, so they'll just turn this fight completely. Teleport comes out from Bradley, will collapse onto Joey. The rest of Immortals will say goodbye to their support as they head to their base.
Team Liquid is turning around this fight, and
Uh-oh, Chad. Uh-oh.
There you go. Ayla just picks it up, throws down the help picks it, but Harry.
Charm comes out. Pretty has a lot of damage, so he can take out Harry. Just needs the Orb of Deception at the right time, but can't find it. Now Bradley is on the flank here. He's still not that beefy, though. Has a lot of damage he can bring if he can get this flank, but this flank, it's all for the sake of making sure that Immortals completely forfeit this turret. It will fall down, and with that, all outer turrets have now fallen, all inner turrets have now fallen. It's just time for the base, and Jan wants to find Vital's face!
Jan has found his footing. Jan has found his footing, Eric. He's finally found an opportunity. He's found his confidence once again, just going for the 1v1 under turrets because he's confident that Ayla has got his back. This was the Team Liquid we were looking for. But just as we look at this, right, I don't want to get too far down the Team Liquid hype train. I'm still excited about Chad. This just wasn't his game. The buy completely shut down so far by the play of Armeo on this Poppy. Not able to get in. The steadfast presence consistently keeps him out. But the fact that Jan is also stepping up, the fact that Harry is also finding his footing. Bradley's been playing well so far this entire series, but he's finally able to take control of the game.
Chadley, 3-0-9. What a performance over on that top side. All started with just bowling around Vital. Lots of close kills. Even if he doesn't get the kills, he's getting a strong CS lead and getting a lot of resources and a lot of pressure for Armeo to play towards that top side and get those Rift Heralds that Team Liquid had secured all game. With that, it is now a massive gold lead for Team Liquid, and Immortals are trying to find some place to play, but when you're 11k behind, it is very hard to show up. You're just looking for the most legendary of picks to come from Pretty.
Pretty can do it. I mean, he started this game off 4-0, though. He hasn't necessarily been able to find his way back in, but he really only has one easy target, and that's Ayla. Well, it's not even Jan, right? Jan still has the Cleanse, he has the Ultimate, he has a Mikhail's Crucible and a Lulu behind him. It's a lot harder to kill anybody that Lulu is protecting than it is to kill the actual Lulu itself. And so, the Immortals, this could be one of their last defenses.
Vault Breaker charged up. Not going to go onto Harry, gets pulled right back in as Chad. Solar Flare goes out, but it lands onto nothing. Immortals looking to defend, but they got to defend on 2 fronts. Over in the top side, over in the bot side. And Team Liquid are so far ahead. Every single one of their carries are fed. 618, Harry. 825, Jan. And they're sieging right at your front door. A charm goes out, it lands onto Harry, but it doesn't do that much. That Ryla's so much health afforded over to Harry as here comes the engage from Immortals. Gets stopped by the steadfast presence as Joey gets pulled right back in. And Bradley going for the deep dive onto Vital. Vital forced to run away from the bot lane as Bradley gets low as well. Still defending as Immortals, but they're losing little bits at a time, scraps at a time. Joey does fall.
As they look for another opportunity, right, Team Liquid still have a lot of ultimates. They're clearing out a lot of space, but they're just holding people here. They have another Baron that they can go for, and look at this cheesy play.
Chad's it coming, Jan! Almost too far forward, Pretty. Nice charm to come out. Keeper's Verdict, charged up, but not going to be utilized. Now Harry going a different route from the rest of Team Liquid. 4 strong is Team Liquid. They have Bradley just waiting to rejoin with the group as Baron is now on the table.
But Team Liquid, they don't have the health bars to actually go for this just quite yet. They look to want to play for the upcoming Dragon, and Bradley already on the map. You have to recognize that Chad, much lower, but at least he can jungle privilege his way back up. He just gets so much HP off of hitting these monsters.
Joey's on the flank.
Bradley
doesn't see this coming. Last Planet comes out, but Bradley's taking the long way. Team Liquid are recalling. They could actually catch out Bradley right here. Solar Flare, waiting for that to be landed. Rest of Team Liquid, they're now pinging for the Baron, so it's got to be fast for Immortals. They got to get this kill onto Bradley and get straight back over towards that top side of the map.
Ooh, Bradley is caught out as you called out, but 4 members down there. They have to deal with this Baron that's getting started up, but I don't think they get there in time. They have to settle for the Dragon as a consolation prize, slowing down Team Liquid's inexorable assault onto the Dragon Soul. Team Liquid will be able to get the bigger objective, but Immortals, they gotta find anything that they can at this point as they find themselves another Infernal that's pumping up the damage that's gonna be coming out of Pretty. Remember, he's already got the Rabadons complete. He's now on 3 items. He's going to be blowing up a lot of these squishy targets when he is actually able to hit them. The problem is, as we already called out, the only person he can kill just straight up right now is Ayla.
Now, it's not just Pretty. Look at Vital.
Not
Vital's
just
still
Pretty.
scaling. 3 skit cloaks, excuse me, I'm a little bit gassy right now. I'm kind of holding that in. As, yeah, Vital. It's a gangplank. Those barrels can be crucial, especially when you have a composition such as Team Liquid who will be looking to run into you, or even kite back into that end. But at this point, they're so far ahead, they're going to be looking for the forward momentum. I mean, you have Poppy, Arrow, Vital. The late game needs to come online if Immortals are going to take this, but right now it looks so handily over to Team Liquid, based off of Bradley alone, who's been holding on to a lot of this lead, a lot of this control over in the lanes, and not even really playing with this too much is going to be Team Liquid. They'll set up 2 lanes, be shoved into the base of Immortals.
As they move in, remember, they have Baron in 2 different positions. They're trying to sync it up at the same time, and both these waves crashing is going to mean that Immortals pulled in.
Ooh. Vital's not there. Chad gets the Vault Breaker on the Bradley. A third of his health going to be chunked away, but the inhibitors are now exposed for Immortals. Immortals really feeling the need right here to find and engage. Harry attacking 1. Team Liquid flexing again with the Keeper's Verdict. Will not use it. It's just to try and get Immortals away. And without even challenging a fight, Team Liquid will claim 2 of Immortals inhibitors.
Immortals can't even challenge them. Chad doesn't have the items. Chad will get blown up on the spot if he tries to actually go in any of these fights. Team Liquid, very slow. This is a lot more how they were playing in spring, and as Bradley teleports towards the top side of the map, he's going to be escorting another wave towards the top side, and everybody else with Baron just holding the members of Immortals in the mid lane. They can shift over here towards the top side if they want, but Bradley is also able to... He's got a sorcery pot? Okay, we'll get back to that.
All right, Jan gets caught by the Solar Flare. Doesn't matter. Pretty doesn't get a charm. He will get it onto Armeo, however. Look at that. Chad Paper gets destroyed. Now defending underneath their Nexus Towers. Keeper's Verdict. Not going to be the most impactful thing being next to your respawn. But Vital going down will be. Jan getting the double kill off of Bradley. Diving deep. They'll go after Arrow. And he'll be sent to the respawn that he's already right next to. Don't got to go far. Team Liquid Honda Academy. They're fighting back after taking 2 defeats very early into this series. Josh, you can finally say it.
We can finally say it. We got a series on our hands. We got Team Liquid ready to go. They turned around their fortunes in Game 3. But now it's going to be Immortals who are going to have the opportunity to have side select for every game going forward. We'll see how the draft adaptation comes through it. If Immortals can bounce back, because Chad, he's had 2 great games on the Poppy, but the Vi was not able to do it.
Yeah, once they took away that Poppy, Chad didn't have that agency, didn't have that impact. Every time he came in with the Vi, you know, either the Steadfast Presence was blocking the Vault Breaker, or he would just go into the backline and be food for the backline. Yeah. So, you know, it's definitely not the pick that worked as well as Chad would have wanted to, but still, just 1 win away. That's the thing about being in this match point spot. Immortals, they still have 2 more tries to take down our champions. We're going to throw it over a short break. When we return, we'll start talking a little bit more about what's going to happen in these future games and get our Q Time show here with Mazel. Hello and welcome everyone to the newly duo game, the game where we find out just how far bot lane synergy goes. I'm your host for the day, Eric Desrux Patran, and joining me, the bot lane of Immortals Progressive. From the hit show players, it is Arrow.
Hey guys, I'm Arrow. Yeah, bot lane players.
From the hit meme, you just got Joey, it is Joey. from CLG Academy, having an explosive debut from Proving Grounds 2 Academy, it is Meech, and of course, it is Breezy. Now, the rules are simple. I will ask one person from each team a question. The person I ask will have to write it down, and their teammate will have to guess what they've written down. For a correct guess, you get a point and one step closer to our grand prize, which is going to be, as a direct quote from Kelsey Moser, a movie date for two, ooh woo. Bot laners, are you ready?
Yeah.
Yep. Started off a little bit simple here. Arrow, Meech, I'm going to ask you the first question. What is your favorite champion not in your role? Answers are written down, pens are down. So now I have to ask, Breezy, Joey, what is their favorite champion not in their role?
This is kind of hard. I've only known Meech for like a week or two. I'm just gonna say like, I'll say Kindred.
Meech, reveal? Xerath? No, not gonna be the answer here, but can Joey and Arrow get it? Joey.
This one's a bit of a meme in our team culture, so I'm gonna go with Trundle.
Arrow, reveal?
Let's
All
go.
right, ding, ding, ding. We get 1 point to Immortals. Explain the meme. What's going on
No
with this
matter
Trundle pick?
what the situation, Arrow says, guys, I think Trundle looks good here. And me and Pretty have just been memeing him for it for the past week. He just, I don't know, he just thinks Pillar's the most
You know,
broken
if
ability in
if
the
you
game,
watch
so it's gotta
today's
be
game in LCS, TLA versus FlyQuest, I'm pretty sure FlyQuest had a 5k gold lead, but TL had a Trundle.
Now, moving on to the next question. Breezy, Joey, what is your favorite world song?
I will go with Legends Never Die.
Joey?
It's Takeover.
Oh,
Legends Never Dies like second. I like that one too.
Let me listen to Takeover, man. I don't think I ever heard of this one.
I'm surprised. That's not high on many people's lists.
I like the music video a lot. I actually listen to the song before most of my games, like that I play on stage. So I'm surprised Arrow doesn't know. It's literally on my monitor every single time.
This is your chance now, CLG.
I'll say Warriors. I hope this is the name of the song.
No way.
Good one. That's my favorite world song.
No.
Rise!
That was a good one too.
Damn. That one's really addicting, really catchy.
So now, leading into the next question, we're going to get a little bit spicier with this one. Arrow, Meech, this is going to you. Your support just got called up to the LCS. You are allowed any academy support. Who do you take?
I'll say Buzio.
Buzio. All right, time for the reveal.
Destiny.
Destiny. Oh.
Ooh.
All right, Joey.
As much as I want to say Destiny, because Arrow played with him before, I'm gonna go with Ayla.
Ooh. I thought you wanted some meme. I thought you would guess my meme. But yeah.
That would have been a good one.
Do we get half a point for that?
Half a point. You know what? Sure. It's the first episode. You'll get half a point. And Arrow, I need the meme explained, man. What's the meme here? What am I missing?
I think I'm hearing the Busio is NA carrier. Like, I don't know where it came from, but I heard it. So I'm making like always a Busio pick. I mean, he's a champion, but he's very wide, I would say. So whenever he some off meta pick, and I'm telling Joey, yo, NA carrier, he picked this one. How about you? Something making meme about it.
All right. So that just leaves us one last question to go. You guys have just made it to Worlds 2023 finals. Your bot lane has been dubbed the savior of NA, the savior of all esports, actually. What is your bot lane duo name?
Could literally be anything, so it's kind of hard to say.
Breach.
Yeah.
What about Breach?
Maybe like Michi, I don't know. It's like his name and mine combined or something.
Michi?
Yeah.
Alright, Breezy,
something
reveal.
like that. Breach. Oh,
Breach. I get the half a point to there. I get the half point.
Actually,
yeah.
Half point.
Arrow, what is Joey calling your duo
Joro. Joro.
Okay. I did Arrowy because this guy's been going. He's been doing ovos around the house was so much, man. So it'd be the Obo bot lane together.
That concludes the game. Now we got the points lined up. It's going to be 2.5 going over to IMT. 1.5 actually, excuse me. I kind of gave you a free point there. So back that one up. 1.5 points going to IMT and half a point going to CLG, which makes Immortals Progressive our winners. You guys get the dinner date for 2 Uwu. And thank you all for joining us. This has been the Newly Duo game. My name is Desrooks. We will see you next time.
Woohoo! Bye.